Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Just made one thing surprisingly clear as it pushed cautions and exposures on us. 4 cautions and no burial. I've got a lot to say about that angelic phenomenon twist, and it's not good. I was willing to go on with having a Lexi Angel, indeed if it was Aunt Renee Jones, figuring that her returning to give Abe's recollections back before Paulina failed would be fine. She was a huge part of his life and would want to help him if she could, so great. But magically fixing Paulina's heart? I know, Lexi encouraged Abe to do that with his love or commodity, but tomato. I am sure there's some conceit in there about Paulina's heart being made whole again when Abe's recollections and love were made whole, but what as Joel? I was indeed willing to forgive it when he brought Paulina back from flatlining, figuring it was like Croker's. Reviving her to give her further time until she got a new heart. But no. She's healthy and perfect now. The show blew right past any plot dealing with veritably real women's heart issues or black women's heart issues. Paulina got her surgery, her heart was failing, she went down presto, also was miraculously healed. The end. Oh, and Lonnie and Eli are moving down for real now. Fine. But it didn't have to be. This kind of deus ex machina twist is generally only demanded when pens back themselves into a corner. But they didn't. The show could have given Paulina further time or killed someone and given her a heart. I know, Days of Our Lives dips into the supernatural further than other shows, but by doing this, they just made clear that stories and consequences don't matter if they can just pull out a magical fix whenever they want. I suppose we kind of knew that with Dr. Rolf's assembly line of reviving characters, but this takes it to a new position. I said beforehand on In the Pen's strike material that it was a mixed bag. Well, I've been enjoying it too much, I guess, because we're getting back to the mixed part of effects. Kayla holds flowers in front of Wendy's sanitarium bed. A beaming Sarah and Tripp stand bedside. That's the look of a man who remembers his marriage but is determined to play dumb. Credit Peacock screenshot further drama-filled hunt mystifications for cleaner suckers. At least they did give Wendy some agency in their deliverance with her ASL. I know some suckers were wondering about her hand movements when they first saw the videotape, and you were right. But also Rafe went and set up them without the hand movements, and I feel like that kind of made Wendy's part meaningless. The 2 deliverer groups arrived at the same time. I guess it allowed them to resolve up and revive both Tripp and Wendy, but still. Greek tragedy car crash. Everett, Stephanie, Jada, each were hugely MIA this week. We got a regard of the Horton drama, thanks to Eli catching up with Grandma Julie. And the pawn stuff continues to be doled out ever so sluggishly. We get it, Constantine, you're going to get your vengeance. How about stop telling everyone that and actually do it? You have the card. You can turn John into the pawn whenever you want, just do commodity. At Black Patch, John scowls at Constantine. Are you saying you my pater? Oh, stay, we aren't doing that modification this time. Credit Peacock screenshot further. Is Steve irredeemable now? So Constantine wasn't just a restaurateur, he was his Greek mob? Arrival to Victor's home. That's a huge shift from what they claimed when he first showed up. As is Steve's tale about John's days working for Victor. Retcons be, but a lot of times, they fit into the missing pieces of the history. We eventually got a full explanation of what happened, and it just flat out rewrote what actually happened on the show back when Steve set up a swathed John and tried dealing him to Victor. And no way mind my proposition about Maggie playing Constantine. She wouldn't have had that heart-to-heart with Julie. She's fallen for him, and Julie wasn't helping, however, whomever, there's no shame in that. Yes, there is. There's lots of shame if it's with Con the Con. I am going to have to just chalk Maggie's obliviousness up to grief and being targeted when she's vulnerable, if you choose to be with Constantine. It's the only way I can explain her not remonstrating him to the check. Constantine and Maggie sit with coffee mugs on the Kiriaki's lounge. Insert heavy shriek then. Credit Jill Johnson/JPI. And now, according to spoilers, Constantine's eventually going to flash back he and Teresa were trying to get plutocrat. But I am not counting on that to wrap up. Lemony Snicket and the dastardly Demoros. I suppose I figured out what's passing with Tate and Holly. They redoing a series of unfortunate events. The books and movie and television show are an exercise in the frustration of grown-ups ignoring what kiddies are trying to tell them about what's going on and blithely being unfit to shield them from the unfortunate horrors constantly betiding them. And, a lot of times, it leads to death. Except, it's an amusing lift. Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, Jim Carrey, Meryl Streep, Emily Browning, Liam Aiken, 2004, C. Paramount courtesy Everett Collection Count Olaf, Aunt Josephine and the Baudelaire Kiddies or EJ, Nicole and Holly and Tate? Credit Paramount courtesy of the Everett Collection. Get A Series of Unfortunate Events 13 book series 51.94 by now on Amazon. And while I was entertained by this story for a time, we restuck on such a circle. I am fed up with enough much every character except Tate. At least Nicole got EJ not to press charges. And she eventually conceded that teenagers do and always suppose effects through, but that doesn't mean they need to be thrown in captivity. But she's still veritably much, are you sure you know what you're talking about, Holly? Further, the one person who can set Holly straight is granted, that would be fixed if Holly told the verity, but then we are. Plus, all of this, he broke into the house is driving me crazy. Holly let him in the damn window. He didn't break through it and burst into her room. Also Brady and Teresa just piled it on Tate after his arrest. This sprat doesn't stand a chance. Loose ends indeed. If Harris had ever jellied with further observers, I don't suppose any of us would bother getting invested in him and Ava knowing Steve Burton's departing. That's one of the problems with Days of Our Lives' shooting schedule. When someone announces they're leaving, it gives us too important time to mime off whatever comes next as we just stay to see how they exiting. And I am enough sure we've each been awaiting Harris to suck the pellet. Harris spreads his hands in a questioning manner at Rafe. I don't know what I am doing either, Rafe. Credit Jill Johnson/JPI further who'll be the one to kill Clyde, Prince, but I've no idea what the point is of keeping Stephens firing a secret and Xander in jail now that Clyde's escaped, though I wasn't entirely sure what the point was to begin with. I am guessing it's just a way to take EJ out of the DA seat somehow. However, also now's the time to be like, hey, if Harris really does believe Stephen helped Clyde escape. I suppose he helped Clyde. Let's put the department coffers into chancing him. So, I am guessing there's some point to this having to do with spoilers coming week about EJ hunting down Stefan. Again, I am wondering if we're about to be down a DiMera soon. Slapdash Studies. Marlena put some bass in her voice when she yelled at Steve to tell her about John's history. That I liked. News Peregrination. Presto. A original hijacking and deliverance in Salem made it over to Hong Kong for Wendy's mama to read about in enough much the same day. I guess The Spectator really does have a worldwide readership, what with their jotting staff of 2. Steve's response to Goldman being Clyde's gal was, I didn't see that coming. Same, Steve. Same. And I wish I hadn't seen it at all. A busy week for the Salem PD during the week of March 18th to March 22nd, 2024 on Days of Our Lives. Spoilers tease a lot of action at the police station as Salemites turn themselves in, and one gets released. Daily Recap Monday, March 11th, 2024, occasion number 14810 when Tate, Jamie Martin Mann, appeared at Holly's, Ashley Puzimas, bedroom window. The two had an unanticipated reunion. As she started slipping down, Paulina, Jackie Harry, along with Abe, James Reynolds, was visited by an angel, who turned out to be his late woman, Lexi. The recollections of both Lexi and Paulina come back to Abe, and despite flatlining, Paulina miraculously recovered. The Salem PD learned about Goldman, Christy St. John being a double agent and working for Clyde, James Reed. After effects went to plan with breaking Clyde out, John, Drake Hodgson, Steve, Stephen Nichols, and Ava, Tamara Braun, rushed to save Tripp, Lucas Adams, and Wendy, Victoria Grace, who were set up unconscious after Tripp spontaneously proposed to his gal. Tuesday, March 12, 2024, occasion number 14811.